You walk on for quite a while, up the hill, through the trees, and after a bit, the light begins to grow as you come down the other side of the ridge. And after a little bit, you look around, and the trees have changed. It looks almost like the leaves are perfectly cut out of fine paper. Like when you look at them, they don't look three-dimensional.
Oh. That's weird to look at if you look right at the leaves. I wouldn't call it whimsical.
Oh, yes.
But it's like an optical illusion almost.
Well, if you look further down the hill, you'll see they turn pastel.
That is much more whimsical.
Yes.
Just touching the leaf, what does it feel like?
It feels like very, very thick paper.
Thick paper. Ari's gonna take a leaf and just put it in his bag. Just pop one off.
As you pull it off, there is an extremely sweet smell left on your fingers as you put it in your pocket.
What kind of trees are these, Puzzle Dust?
Oh, I don't know what he calls them.
What's the name of the archfey that we're going to, the one who likes stories? Don't say
the Lord of Whimsey.
Oh, okay. Lord of Whimsey, and he likes stories.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else I need to know? Like, are we gonna have to make a deal with him?
Oh no. No. Not for what we're trying to do.
Okay. Good. Good. Is he temperamental or is he pretty cool? I assume we're still walking down the hill towards the pastel trees.
It's difficult to describe him. You come to a place where two pastel blue trees flank an archway that is wrapped around and hung with crepe paper streamers.
This is, I mean, it looks like it was designed by somebody Donnabella's age, but it is whimsical. I will give him that.
On their first arrival at Whimsington Manor, Ari and Puzzle Dust were, to say the least,
puzzled. Are we in a Mad Lib right now?
No, it's just him. Come on, through the gates.
All right.
You walk in, and the trees start to become farther spaced, but very, very regular in their spacing.
Okay.
Strange, furry creatures come in and out of the grass and dart off out of the area, and an eerie music of a harpsichord floats through the... Man, I just committed myself to find harpsichord. Floats through the area. As you walk along, you see the source of the music. There's a harpsichord sitting in the grass just off the path in a pool of sunshine. There is a female elf sitting at the harpsichord playing and singing an extremely melancholy but also very upbeat song. She and the harpsichord are in grayscale.
Hello.
She continues singing.
Ari's gonna walk over and get into her line of sight.
She continues singing. Indeed, the only thing lacking from the manor's idyllic beauty was...
wine.
And down from the tree, a brightly colored blue and gold monkey of some kind dangles by its tail with a tray with a bottle of wine and a glass.
I could have said a way home, I guess, but now I'm committed to wine, so all right. Thank you.
The ape scurries back up into the tree. The monkey scurries back up
Goodbye.
into the tree.
Oh, I wish I had like something to make sure that this wasn't poisoned, or like could do suggestion on the wine. Don't poison me. Ari turns to Puzzle Dust. If I drink this, am I going to go to like sleep or something, or like?
I have no idea.
You want to sip? You want to?
No,
be my taster?
not in the least.
Come on, it's probably good.
No.
Do you like
No.
wine?
No.
Why don't you like wine?
Is that really what we need to discuss right now, Ari?
I'm just trying to get to know you better. And Ari takes this absent-minded sip of the wine.
It was the finest wine that Ari had ever tasted in his life.
This is the finest wine I've tasted in my entire life.
You seem to be getting the hang of it.
Yeah.
Continuing on from the Spectre, Ari and Puzzle Dust made their way towards the great manor house in the center of the
Spectre?
gardens. Yes, her.
Well, no, I know that they were referencing her, but I just didn't realize she was a specter, I guess. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. I was just curious.
Whimsyton Manor had been built by the Lord of Whimsey long before he was known as that. It was, among other things,
Well appointed.
well appointed. There is, you now notice, though you definitely didn't before, a large, stately, English-style manor house, perfectly symmetrical, sitting in the midst of the garden, and there is now a white stone path with low hedges on either side leading up to it.
I like the exact symmetry is really freaking me out. I don't like that aspect because that gives it kind of an uncanny vibe. But overall, I hope he's happy with the way I designed his house.
The color of the sky behind it shifts to a rosy dawn pink that contrasts very pleasingly with the sort of corn yellow brickwork of the manor.
Okay. I'm gonna start trying to think of better things to say because once again, in Stormreach would have been a great thing to say then, but okay, gonna try to stay ahead of this. Let's go, Puzzle Dust. I guess it would just be like
Ari and Puzzle Dust were greeted at the door by the Lord's doorkeeper. He had a very unusual name.
Jimothy. You said unusual. I wouldn't have gone weird.
A goblin with very large ear, like in the big football-headed shaped goblins from the Pathfinder.
Yeah.
In a coat and tails, stands at the door and bows to you. Jimothy, at your service.
Hello, Jimothy. I am Una Davari Smith, and this is my associate, Puzzle Dust.
Said Ari, introducing them. The Lord awaits you.
Thank you, Jimothy. Ari takes a sip.
This way, please.
Well, this seems lovely, Puzzle Dust.
Ari was correct. It was lovely. As you walk through the door, you find yourself in, indeed, a very well-appointed foyer. And seated in the foyer, in a settee, a fainting couch, essentially, is a very thin, elf-like figure with blonde hair that falls to a blunt cut kind of around his jaw. He is wearing a frock coat in a fiery orange color, with sky blue trousers. He has no shoes and mismatched socks.
I love your style.
Thank you, Ari.
The Lord of Whimsey, I take it.
I am.
Nice to meet you and make your acquaintance.
It is.
Yes. Lovely home.
Indeed.
Very
It does look rather lovely this time.
well appointed.
Quite.
Well, I think
You must need to hear a story.
puzzled us. Do we need to hear a story?
Yes, we need to hear a story about the prince.
We need to hear a story about the Forgotten Prince, please. If you remember any.
That is an unfortunate reality of this plane and of his nature.
Oh, I know.
But I could create a story for you if you know a story involving the Forgotten Prince.
I have a quick question for you, my lord. I don't need to hear a full...
Ari pondered carefully before asking.
Is he, like, just sitting there saying that?
Yes.
Okay.
But when he does that, it comes out of everywhere around you.
Yeah, very unsettling. You being a fan of stories, are there any stories related to an archfey cursing a mortal and that mortal overcoming said curse?
Yes, all curses are bound by rules, explained the Lord of Whimsey.
But there's no compulsion to communicate those rules to the cursee by the cursor, I'm guessing, because that was my experience.
Unfortunately, there is not. And suddenly in your mind, there is a series of smash-cut vignettes of Archfey cursing various people.
Okay. Yep.
While a raucous song plays over it.
Thank you. All right. So there are rules to curses, and there are bound to be rules to curses. All right. Puzzle Dust, do you know a story featuring the Forgotten Prince that could get the ball rolling?
No, but you know a story involving the Forgotten Prince.
Oh yeah, my story. Right. Okay. I was cursed by the Forgotten Prince.
No, don't tell me yet.
Okay.
He rises. Jimothy. The theater. Yes, my lord. And Jimothy appears and walks you across down a hallway through a pair of open doors. And as you are at the entrance, the Lord of Whimsey is suddenly ahead of you with a bright pink lemur perched on his shoulder. Before walking through the doors, Ari thought very carefully about the story that he needed to hear. And then he turns and walks through another door. Jimothy appears with a tray and holds up, and each tray contains a really big, it's like a really oddly shaped pint glass, but very large.
Okay.
And it is full of some sort of golden, puffy chunks.
Golden puffy chunks. It's a 90s record label.
That smells salty and buttery.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. What do you got there, Jimothy?
Refreshments for the guests.
Oh, thank you. And Ari reaches to go get some.
You may take your seats when you are ready. The entertainment is about to begin.
Thank you. So I thought Ari whispers to Puzzle Dust, I thought I was telling him a story, but he needs to tell us a story.
Yes, that's how it's going to play out.
So, but I'm still going to take a seat in the audience?
Yes.
Okay. And Ari goes to take a seat. sits in the theater.
There are quite a number of people here of various fey kinds, and a curtain rises on the bottom, and a young boy dressed in a brightly colored coat, who looks like a pretty reasonable version of somebody else dressed up as you, walks onto the scene. A bunch of others walk out and simulate a market. What do you see play out? What do we see play out on the stage?
So the young boy dressed like Ari has a modestly sized coin purse that is not filled to the brim. But he is there on the charge of his father to buy some supplies because they were about to head out on the road again, and Dad sent Ari to market to go pick up some much needed like food, specifically for the road ahead. Ration
much
style.
needed essentials for the road ahead.
Yes.
As these things play out in your thought.
Yep.
The narration of the Lord of Whimsey plays.
So the young boy approaches. There's a market stall with a very loud, boisterous, large merchant that is dressed like somebody that wants to appear wealthy, but isn't. A gold-plated individual. And there are people at his stall buying things. He is clearly doing very well for himself. And the young boy approaches the stall and is distraught to discover that the prices have been raised by this merchant on the essential goods.
The young boy approaches the stage piece of the stall, looks and says in a perfectly deadpan voice, "These prices will never do." The merchant looks back at him and says, "What can I say? Supply and demand." Proceed.
So the boy takes a couple steps away, looking distraught at the coin purse, and looks back at the merchant, and steps up as though to beseech the merchant to perhaps haggle that they've shopped there every time they've come through town. Surely there is something that can be done. But then a new figure enters the scene, an extremely obnoxiously handsome, pale skin, straight line features, very symmetrical face, with hair that is the kind of gray that you would associate with Twilight, like in between light and dark. But very tall, handsome elf enters the scene and begins speaking to the boy and basically asking why he looks so sad.
So this figure approaches the young boy and says, "What gives?"
And the boy responds, basically explaining his plight to the gentleman and saying, like, my dad wants me to come buy supplies, but this merchant raised his prices. I don't have enough money, and I don't want to disappoint my dad, but I don't know what else to do in this situation.
The figure adjusts his lapels, says, "I got this," and disappears for a moment before reappearing with a basket full of all that you might need. The spotlight shifts back to the merchant, who is in the process of handing an empty hand to a customer that has just purchased something, and then both of them look down at the merchant's suddenly empty hand and then out at the crowd in puzzlement, and then the light switches back to Ari and the prince.
So young Ari like is astonished and shocked and thanks the elf for helping. And what can I do to thank you? I mean, surely there's something I can do.
Oh, don't worry too much about that. I'll think of something.
And
he's gone.
Ari. Then the scene shows Ari returning to camp.
Scenery rolls by behind the young Ari as he walks in place on the stage.
And just as coming onto stage, you see the edge of a Korvar camp caravan packing up to preparing to hit the road. And you see the young boy stop and look at the basket and look at the coin purse. And he takes the coin purse and puts it into his pocket and then resumes approaching. And the young boy's father comes into the scene and looks at the basket and looks at kind of the bounty, and it's like, well, you did well in the market, I see. And the young boy said, yep, I managed to do a bit of haggling and got him to drop the price so we could get some extra stuff for the road. And the dad just beams with pride at this news.
The music takes on a sinister tone, and we see the dark figure enter from the side of the stage and simply point a long finger at Ari. And the curtain goes down, the room goes black. And your seat has become very uncomfortable.
I mean, Ari's been uncomfortable for a while at this point.
Yeah. But physically, your seat has become physically uncomfortable as the applause of the audience that just watched your childhood trauma play out fade out of hearing. And you realize you're sitting in a pile of something.
Okay. Ari kind of goes to stand up and examine what he is.
You kind of slip and shift a little bit, and you're standing in the midst of a pile of just everything, just junk from all manner of things. There's old medals, there's discarded socks, there's priceless artifacts, there's just discarded furniture, everything just piled all around you. And looking around from the heap that you're standing on, it just goes on like that in all directions.
And no puzzle dust anywhere?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Puzzle dust crawls out of a flower vase.
I don't see a castle or anything. We're just in
This is the castle.
Just a pile of stuff.
Endless. In all directions, no matter how far you walk.
Well, this increasingly seems like this endless, but how do we get to him?
We just start walking, and at a certain point, it will stop amusing him.
Okay.
Or he's somewhere in the pile looking at things, or who knows?
Great. All right, well, I guess we'll just start walking then. This seems so weird. I hate this.
You begin walking through the gullies amid the piles of stuff. There's no category whatsoever. You see, you occasionally pass things that are vaguely familiar to you. There are bits of armor that are clearly from the last war. There are huge. At one point, there's an entire palace just heaped slightly on one side, on top of a pile of junk. You walk for maybe an hour.
During that hour, Puzzle Dust would know because that's the only entity that Ari has to play off of right now. like Ari's demeanor after having had to watch his childhood trauma again, his demeanor is much, it's soured, I guess. He is a lot more, it starts off frustrated and then eventually into annoyed and then genuinely like angry as he's trudging through this pile of forgotten knickknacks. And like
after about an hour,
yeah,
you come over a rise, and there at the bottom of the rise is a person, tall and dressed all in black, with black hair flowing down from the back of his head, and he's bent over, picking up random objects from the junk pile, examining them, tossing them, and just moving about, looking at the stuff all around.
Ari kind of looks at Puzzles. Is that him?
Yeah. Yes, that's him.
All right, let's go have a chat.
As you come down, the figure reaches in, digs around, and pulls out a small black leather book and flips it open. Fallen leaves of green blow past my bare shins over snow-capped dales in the desert heat. The moon set into sunlit twilight, while kings bow to paupers on their seat. And so I run.
Hey, no, give me that.
And
that's not
tosses
yours.
You what you recognize as a journal that you lost some time ago.
Why?
Well, you were coming, so I was looking for things that had to do with you. It took me takes me time. I could tell you were coming, and you reminded me of that day. But I had to think through why, and so I had to find something to remind me.
I can refresh your memories. Ari indignantly shoves his journal into his pack.
Welcome.
Hello.
Ari.
Yes. It's me. All grown up. The child that you cursed.
Yes.
Yeah. But
what can I do for you?
I mean, short term, I would like to go home. But, I mean, sorry, I had compartmentalized a lot of the stuff that happened between us, but I was just forced to relive it. And so, got a lot of emotions going on right now.
You came through Whimsiton.
Yep. I did.
It's the strangest thing. It's entirely weird and seems quite random, but it is always extremely evocative of emotion. He just has a way with things.
Mm-hmm. I have no words. I've thought about this so many times, and now that I'm here, I was a child, and I don't understand why. What do I need to do to get out from under this? Because I don't even think it makes sense. Like, you look around you here, and it's all stuff. Yeah, this, my journal that I wrote poetry in. Like,
it's not bad.
Thanks. I put it in a drawer and I forgot about it, even though I really cared about my art. And yeah, this fits your MO. But the memories that other people have of me, I bet my grandpa's memories of my first steps are something that he probably would like to have held on to. It's not something that he would have like cherished, but then discarded over time, or just the general memory of his grandson. The memories of other people that I have hopefully had a positive impact on just tossed to the wayside. I don't get how this fits into your thing, I guess. It seems like you're stealing stuff from other people instead of the person that you cursed.
You know, I've honestly never thought of it that way.
Probably forgot about it.
It's kind of funny, though.
Hilarious. Yeah. I laugh about it all the time. So, Whimsington, Lord of, said that curses have rules.
That is the way of them.
Yeah, it would have been cool to have been communicated those rules and Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
I mean, I want to go home, back to my friends.
Sure.
I figure
it's going to be weird to a degree.
Why?
Well, you'll need to, like, introduce yourself.
So when I stayed here...
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you can undo that, right?
Yeah.
How?
We just do it. It's not like I don't use potions and things like that. It's amateur stuff. We just do it.
If I say please, would that be good enough? Like,
what?
You wiped me out of existence. Like,
yeah. Not exactly. Your stuff is still there. It just has no context.
So they're just going to be confused.
In anyone's mind. Yeah. It's a riot. They think, or their leading theory right now, because of the journal you left behind, their leading theory right now is that they have a stalker who's been following their adventures and writing himself into the adventures. It's really very funny if you think about it from an outside perspective, separated from your own personal grief right now.
Yeah. So that's like, so you could have wiped the journal out too. You just left it there because you knew it wouldn't work.
I mean, I could have stolen it, I guess. But yeah, there was always, but I'd like there to be just the chance that something goes wrong with what I'm doing. And there was the possibility that the journal would do something. But in the event, you weren't entirely wrong. It wasn't a bad thought. Just
didn't work.
Just didn't work. Their will, my magic. You can understand why they lost.
Okay. So you can... So can you just see them, or did you go watch them? Like, how do you know what they're doing?
Oh, I popped in a little bit just to see what was happening, because I was really curious if the journal thing would work. That was clever.
I thought so too at the time.
It was. I thought so. I really thought it might work.
Why I did an introduction and everything explicitly saying, like, hey, I was cursed by an archfey to where people would forget me, so here's a way to not forget me.
They're real confused.
Yeah.
They have they have those drow you befriended searching for a stalker.
So if I just show up, they're going to assume, especially if I use the name of the stalker.
I mean, if you show up, yeah, if I just dropped you back, it might be interesting to see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Or you fix it. Or
could do that.
Okay, so this whole stealing other people's memories thing.
Yeah.
You acknowledged I presented not really your normal thing, not really your normal shtick.
It's a fair point. It seemed, because you were just, obviously so proud of yourself, that it seemed like a really good idea. But you make a reasonable point. It is, it is targeting other people in a lot of ways.
I was also a child just trying to make his dad proud of him and made a mistake. And I paid for it for 12 years. Time served?
Really wait, has it been 12 years?
Yes, it's been 12 years.
That's...
Yeah. My parents...
And that's a while for you.
Yes. It's long enough time to where most of my family's dead. I really only have 3 people that remember me on a daily basis without me popping up and them going, "Oh yeah, you." And even then, I don't know how much the people close to me forget. You didn't really make it clear what the parameters were. If they forget things also, or if because I'm around every day they remember me and everything about me. I don't know. But I would like that to stop at some point and then go home.
Okay.
So Puzzle Dust tells me that you're a fan of making deals.
It is kind of... I have yet to encounter an Archfey that isn't. Or just a Fey. Really, any of the Fey you encountered would have very happily bargained with you.
Could they have lifted your curse off of me?
Oh, goodness, no.
Okay, that's what I think. I was going to be real mad if you said yes. Going to be really annoyed. Okay. I mean, what... I would love a finite thing. Like, I give you this in exchange for lifting the curse. Because, boy, does this suck. Like, I can't make any...
And I can understand why you'd want that. But the thing is, if we're thinking about this in terms of bargaining and to go back to that day, supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
I have all of the supply of what you demand. I mean, you got nothing in your coin purse. So,
I mean,
I have an idea.
Great. I'd love to hear it.
You have, in spite of everything, which is really quite something, developed into a relatively skilled and talented person.
Thank you.
I mean, imagine how much worse off you'd be if I made it so that your memories, faded rapidly. You'd just have to keep relearning how to play the lute.
Yep. I lost that anyway. Do you have a lute around here? I could... Well,
almost certainly.
I'm not going to make another... Anyway, continue.
He starts walking. I am not, though you may be surprised to hear it, a god. I can only be in so many places at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I managed 8 once, and it hurt a lot. So I have people who take care of this sort of thing for me, who send things that aren't appreciated here.
who steal for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just from people who don't appreciate the things they've got.
Okay.
And occasionally, who ensure that people who aren't getting the reputation they deserve get the reputation they deserve. I mean, I know you probably have the impression that it's all bad, but it's not all bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Not all bad. What kind of good things have you done lately? Just to give me an idea.
There was, a few years ago, in your world, there was a small-time military officer, and he was constantly overlooked for promotion. In the band that he ran with, it wasn't really even something you could call a kingdom, but just in the war band that he ran with, because his commander always took credit for the victories and probably didn't even realize that it was really one of his subordinates that was bringing victory in all of these battles. And so I arranged for the commander to get shot in the knee with an arrow and have to retire. And that guy's name, Karn. And today y'all call him Karn the Conqueror. How's he doing?
Dead. Very dead.
Oh.
Long time dead.
No.
I mean, he conquered the whole continent, so, well, most of it, not all of it.
Right?
But
See?
But you still...
See, it can be good.
But, so in this instance, your agent, or your knight, or whatever, had to shoot somebody in order for the good thing to happen.
So that was the way he decided to take care of it. I just told him to go do it.
Okay.
And now let's be fair. That commander was incompetent, and he'd have gotten himself killed eventually. He went and opened a tavern, lived a perfectly happy life.
Okay, that's... so is your pitch that I work for you? Is that...
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. That seems like it would work. I could lift the curse, people could start remembering stuff you do, reset your friends' memories back, and yeah.
Would every memory of me be like people that have, like my grandpa? Will my grandpa suddenly like remember all the memories about me, or no?
Would you want him to? Would you want him to suddenly remember?
I don't know how it works. How would it work for my friends? Or they just gonna be like, holy crap, we've forgotten, now we remember?
Well, maybe they'll see you. I'll drop you off somewhere.
But they'll remember that they forgot?
They'll see you and then remember who you are. And it'll be like, we had this really weird thing. We thought you were a stalker. It'll be great.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll laugh with them.
Yeah. But I mean, your grandfather's like hundreds of miles away, so it would be strange.
I would still like him to recognize me if he saw me. Like,
oh sure, yeah, okay, I can do that.
Okay,
okay.
Well,
I tell you what, I'll give you an incantation, and if you say the incantation to someone that you used to know, they'll remember everything. I really feel like that's extremely generous.
Yeah.
I'm giving you the option not to say it
to
some people.
Yes, yeah, that's fine.
And let's think about things early in the days when you realized that this was happening. There's a lot of people you don't want to remember you.
Yes. I'm gonna be upfront in terms of the negotiating table right now, because right now I'm afraid to say anything in the affirmative because I'm worried that you're gonna be like, okay, deal, and then we're gonna be done talking. So can we?
I really was going to do that.
Can we
see? You've learned some stuff.
Yes, I have learned some stuff. So,
deal. No, I'm just kidding.
Can we come up with some kind of like ritualistic, like I already doth agree, like something other than just a yeah, sure, and then we're done.
Sure. Yes, let's see.
Or we could just shake on it, I guess, or something.
When you're ready to agree, you can say, oh man, that's hard. See, you put me on the spot now. All of the cool things that I've heard, I'm forgetting them.
Huzzah! How about that?
I love it.
Okay.
Huzzah. Let's go with huzzah.
All right. There are a couple of wrinkles. I'm pretty well entrenched in Stormreach, so I can't have you calling up one day and saying, hey, I need you in Thrain tomorrow. Or in a month.
I mean, I could just move you.
Well,
in that situation.
But see, the thing is, like, I imagine there's still some level of documentation about me and my friends in Corvair, and we're wanted, as you are aware. So
I mean, they are.
I mean, my name's on a ledger somewhere, right? Like they like.
Yeah, but no one's really clear what it means.
Okay. So I would like any activity, like there's a lot of people in Stormreach. Surely you can find enough work in Stormreach for me to do without me needing to traipse about everywhere.
That's probably true.
Additionally, I would love for this to not be an open-ended contract. Like, how about we come up with some measurement of like, and once X happens, we're both happy, we're both satisfied.
Traditional would be your firstborn child.
Well, no. I'm not big on giving up children. That's kind of how I got here.
I didn't think that was going to be a good option for you. I just.
How about it's been 12 years that I've been cursed by you. And I guess your intention was for it to just be in perpetuity since you didn't communicate any kind of condition to get out of it. 12 things. Once the 12th thing has been delivered to you, we're good.
That has a nice symmetry. I do enjoy a narrative balance.
I figured you would like
and
that.
That's pretty good. Okay, I'm good with that. And see, just to show there's no hard feelings, and he produces a very nice looking loot from the junk pile.
This is a gift and not something I need to make good on.
It's, yeah, I don't need it.
Okay.
The guy who had it didn't even understand what it was good for.
What's it? It's good for music, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anyway? Not important. Focus. Also, I don't know the type of stuff, like I'm not big on kidnapping people. Like if there's a child that somebody neglects.
I don't take people.
And you made it pretty clear
that.
Go ahead.
It's stuff.
Okay.
Things people don't appreciate, and occasionally intangibles
like
reputation, memory,
yeah,
that sort of thing. But no, taking people is a hassle because then they're here and they mess with my stuff.
Okay. And you made it pretty clear with the whole Karn the Conqueror example that the way you operate is you say, I want this, but you don't give any directive on how to accomplish it, right? So you're never going to be like, kill this person.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't usually solve anything.
Not big on the murder. My phone just started playing a YouTube video.
That's all right.
I don't know. Would you be amenable to me having a veto clause where if there's something that I don't want, I feel uncomfortable doing, I get a thank you next?
I'll make you a deal.
Oh God.
Regarding that. If I ask you for something and you don't want to give it to me, that's fine. But I get to take one memory out of your head each time you sing.
Of your choosing, I'm guessing.
Of my choosing.
I mean, I guess, yeah. I'm at least in control of it, so it sucks. I don't like it, but
Then we don't say no.
Yep. Okay, so just to make sure that we're on the same page, I become an agent, knight of your court, whatever you want to call it. You can contract me to acquire 12 things or affect reputation or some 12 missions, 12 quests.
12 tasks. 12 quests. Excellent.
Once the 12th has been accomplished, I am no longer an agent.
Whensoever the 12th labor of Ari hath been accomplished,
Ari turns
then you shall be free entire from my wrath.
Ari looks at Puzzle Dust. I see where you get it now. Yes, that. And at that point, we're done. It's not, oh, the curse comes back, or it's like we're done. You and I.
At that point, you and I will be square.
Cool.
I guess.
All right. Well, see, I want it to be in plain language because, you know, I've read some stories about people making deals with the Fae where, like, some girls like, I wish Johnny would set roots down in the town, and then he turns into a tree because trees have roots instead of just him staying, because clearly that's what she meant. So you saying right. I'm square at the end of this, I'm worried that I'm going to turn into a polygon. So,
man, you're just very good at this. I really would have found some way to twist that. Yeah, after this, you don't owe me anything.
And I'll be alive. You're not...
And you'll be... Well, I can't actually...
You're not going to kill me.
I won't kill you.
Okay.
Nor do I have any... Will I cause anyone else to kill you?
This contract that we are writing up will be fulfilled. There, we can just...
Correct.
There you go.
You have my word as a gentleman.
I cannot tell you how little faith that instills in me right now. And then also I have the option to veto a request, but in exchange you take a memory.
Correct.
One memory of your choosing.
One memory of my choosing.
And since you're getting something in recompense, that still ticks off that item, correct? Like, it's not like you get to take a memory and then add something else onto the end of the list. Okay?
You are good at the particulars. Very well.
I've thought about this a lot, you know. And
that does make this easier. And I do appreciate you thinking about it before having this conversation with me. So many times when mortals try to bargain with people, it's just they've not put any thought into it. Such a waste of time.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming prepared to this meeting.
You're welcome. I did not know that we were going to be doing this today. I would have gotten my normal 8 hours if I had. Okay. All right. I think that's everything that we laid out. So, anything additional that you want to add on?
Well, there is a bit about being a knight in my service. I need to mark you
I'm already.
It'll help. Well, I don't like it.
I do.
Also, I don't like this. And he just reaches out and touches your head. That's much better. The hair, green is not.
Oh, right.
Not good.
Had a lot on my head. Forgot about that.
Yes. So, I think the normal color again is better in general. It's darker. It's more on brand for me in any case. Now, you're going to need to be able to do some things that you can't do in order to send things to me. So we're going to need to just make some adjustments here. And he reaches up and puts his hand on your scalp, and he sort of draws his hand around, and you feel something very unpleasant dragging across your forehead.
This sucks.
And around. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. There. Okay. Perfect. Very good. Excellent. Oh, he reaches down and comes up with what is definitely an extremely ancient and very, very expensive sword, and holds up the blade of it, which is, unlike real swords, a very mirrored polish to it, and you can see that your mark has changed.
What the? What? How?
Do you like it?
I have so many.
You just saw me do it.
I was born with that. Like that's what.
Well, you weren't born. It appeared partway through your life. Come on.
You get what I'm. But it was part.
Yeah, it still is.
But you can change.
Yes.
Did you give? What?
What?
You, as an archfey, can manipulate dragon marks?
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, I just did.
What did you do to my mark? Like, I got pretty... You said I developed a lot of skills over the year. Part of those skills were, like...
No, they're still there. It's just you can do some other things now. I always forget how I explain it. Okay. Put out your hand and grab and pull.
Okay. Nari does it.
As you do, you feel the heat from your mark crawl down your hand, and you see the now sort of smoky gray coloring of your mark move into your hand and then elongate in your hand and solidify into a weapon.
What? How? What?
See, now that will allow you, among other... I mean, you can hit things with it if you need to, but...
I'm terrible at that.
Well, you're actually better at it than you think. It's not... Your muscles are not relevant to this weapon.
Okay.
It works, believe it or not, on your personality. But... will. Force of will. It's... The weapon knows what it's doing. But... if you will draw a circle in the ground using that weapon around an object, when you finish the circle, it will send me the object.
Okay. Okay. And it's just that. Like, there's no extra, like, incantation or fiddly bits. It's just...
No. Just when you finish the circle.
Will it know if it's specifically, like, if I just go up to something and do that, is it going to plop in here, or is it specifically something you requested?
Oh, no, you can do it. Don't send me junk.
Okay.
Don't send me junk, Ari.
I won't.
Excellent.
Would it work on a person,
then? No.
Okay.
I don't want people.
I figured you would say that.
Don't mess with my things, Ari.
I won't. Okay.
There's a system in place around here.
Okay, I just wanted to know if I got in a sticky situation, if I could just send somebody here instead of having to deal with them. So...
No. Ugh,
All right.
no.
Okay. But okay. So you just altered my mark and added this extra thing onto it. But
Yes. Also, see, this is...
Ari uses mage.
I understand, this is...
Ari tries to use mage hand to just pick up something in a pile.
It works.
Okay.
That's not where that goes. Now, I gave you something just now. And so I feel like there's a trade involved. And you have something that is really nice, and also that you haven't been paying attention to, and that is actually forgotten by a lot of people. I want that red book.
But I was going to get to it.
Right, yeah, you were going to get to it, but then just other things. Yeah, that's how this works.
Fine. Ari takes the
Thank you. He looks around and then just sort of sets it on a pile.
All right, then. I guess
You have no idea how long scholars have been looking for that book.
this is all. My life is just a perpetual mistake. I feel like sometimes.
Treasure what you have, Ari.
I try to every day, but you know. Okay, then I guess we're good.
I think we're done. I think we're good.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Right.
Excellent. The deal is struck. Thunder rumbles across the sky.
So am I just going to show up in the mansion?
Oh, they're not in the mansion
Okay.
right now.
Can you just teleport me to where they are?
Yeah. I'll just put you. Let's see. We need tree. This way. The trees are this way.
Okay.
And you puzzle dust lands on your shoulder again. Do you have any idea what you're doing?
I tried to get the curse lifted and get sent home. Why?
Oh, yes, well, you've done that. And you're in the process of doing the second part, I suppose.
What? Why?
Well, not home, exactly.
Yeah,
because
just
if they're not home.
Are you concerned about what I've done?
Oh, yes.
Why?
I think it will go terribly wrong.
Why do you say that?
Because you just made a deal with an archfey.
I feel like I did a pretty good job of like crossing the T's and dotting the umlauts, you know.
Oh, yes.
What?
Although, it would be noted that you didn't define one memory.
What do you mean?
Well, one memory could mean, the last hour. Or one memory could mean your mother.
Should have consulted you. Would you have helped me if I would have asked you for help?
Of course. I assumed... Was this not your plan all along? I assumed this is why you begged me to come along this morning. Was this not some clever ruse?
No, Puzzle Dust. This was...
You really didn't expect... Oh, goodness.
This was a huge mistake. All of it was a huge mistake.
Quite. As you come down another junk pile, there are, quite literally, a bunch of trees piled. And the prince walks over and with one hand flips one of them upright, and its roots immediately set into the dirt. And then he puts his hand on the tree, and the tree seems to sort of unwind and open into a doorway.
All right, and I just step through here?
Just right through. Friends on the... Oh, the incantation. Oh,
Yes.
should have let you go through.
I was going to
telling you
ask
the
before I walked
incantation.
through. It was on my mind.
That would have been...
Don't worry about it.
really funny. Oh, man.
What's the
so-
incantation?
What you need to say when you see your friends. Are you ready?
I'm getting there. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. So, what you say is this. Come away, O mortal child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand.
Okay, hold on. Come away, O mortal child. I need the second line again, please.
To the waters and the wild,
To the waters and the wild.
with a fairy hand in hand,
I got the third line. Fourth line.
for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand.
For the world's more full of weeping than you can understand.
Say that to your friends, and they'll remember you. Say that to anyone, and if they knew you, they'll remember you.
Understand. Glad I snagged this journal back from you when I got here. Okay.
And you didn't write that. Don't go taking credit for that.
No, I didn't. It's great. It's creepy. Love it.
Isn't it?
All right. Well, then I guess we're done here. So, Puzzle Dust can come. Puzzle Dust, you want to come with?
Yes.
All right. So just through this tree?
Well, Puzzle Dust. He's technically mine. You want to take Puzzle Dust with you?
Well, Puzzle Dust wants to come with me. Like,
Sure, but you want to take him with you.
that is debatable. I know that he wants to come, and so I was just checking in.
Well, we've got a deal for getting rid of the curse,
Yep.
and
And now I get
what you're going to pay me back with. But we do need to deal with tolls.
we just made a deal. Like, I get to go back now.
Yes, that was about the curse, and now you want to go back. You think I just have these things lying around?
Yes, I do. It seemed like you
All
were
right, fair enough.
literally
Yes, I
about
just
to let
have
me
these
walk.
things lying around. That's quite reasonable. I have these things lying around. Fine. But, nonetheless, there are tolls.
What? But
Well, it's going to have to be one of those intangibles. So, let's see. And something that will properly bind you to me is better.
I thought that's what this mark was, but sure.
That will, but I think we can get better. Let's see. All right. Come here.
What? Like, what are you wanting to take from me? Communicate before you touch me.
I'm not going to touch you this time. I just want you to look deep into my eyes.
Puzzle Dust, any thoughts? Commentary?
I don't know that you have a choice.
Okay. Ari walks up and looks into... Does Forgotten Prince just look like a person, I guess? Like, in all of the Eberron books, he's got, like, the porcelain doll mask and all that stuff.
He's not wearing the mask right
Okay,
now.
okay.
Yeah, he has sort of very, very pale skin.
Okay.
And long elfin ears. Overlong, probably. Sort of World of Warcraft long.
Yeah.
And stares deep into your eyes for a long moment. And you sense something shift inside you. And he says, there. That'll do it.
What happened?
I altered you a little bit.
How?
Well, before you were Koravar, and now you're not.
What? That was important to me.
Well,
It's who I am. That's who my people are.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Now you can go home. Yes, I understand. I am entirely understanding of what you're saying. It's important to you. I get it.
What am I now?
The general term used in your world's stories for people who have been transformed by contact with the Fae is a hexblood.
I wish you would have. I would have given up something else. I didn't want to give that up.
No. But you did want to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, back to your friends in any case. And you do want them to remember you, and now you have all the tools you need to do both.
Is there something? Could we undo that? Is there something else I could give you to? You can have the journal, the loot, my jacket, the gun. I don't care.
No, I like this. It's interesting. See, I'll put it right here. And he walks over and takes out a crystal with a purplish glow inside it. And he sets it casually on one of the junk piles. And maybe when you're done, we can have a conversation about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we will.
Think of it like collateral. You're clever. Possibly clever enough to weasel your way out of this. And now, you probably won't.
We'll see.
I very much look forward to seeing.
Ari just looks over his shoulder at Puzzle Dust and let's go. And
Puzzle
Ari
Dust alights on your shoulder on the other side of your head from the prince.
walks through the tree gate. And Ari turns back one last time and looks at the crystal with the purple glow in it and glowers at the Forgotten Prince and then steps through.
Bonsoir.
Eat me.
All in good time. And the prince and his giant pile of junk fade from sight. And there shall we stop the ballad of Ari and the prince.
Ugh.
It's important to me to say as we go out that 90% of that was Eric's decision.
Don't tell him that. Let him be mad at you, Philip. Feel their wrath.
Feel the wrath. I felt the wrath, man. Although it seemed to be equal parts Ari and Puzzle Dust when I felt the wrath. So
yeah, yeah. Well, that wasn't surprising to me. I
All right. Thank you all very much for watching. We hope that this was enjoyable.
Yeah.
If you would like to get into contact with us and let us know exactly what you think of the Forgotten Prince, you can do so down in the comments section below.
They all love him, Philip. You know they're all going to love him. Like, you know.
That's probably true. That's not my fault.
They're all going to wish that I was playing the Forgotten Prince now for the rest of the campaign.
They love Tommel. They love the Forgotten Prince. They loved Bella Shira. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Down there, you will also find links to all of our social media, including our Discord, where we can do a lot of discussing of D&D and nerdiness in general, as well as our shows, as well as link to our merch store and to our Patreon, where you can support us. If you think this is fun and you want it to continue, I mean, it probably will. That sounded like a threat.
Go to Patreon right now if you want this show to keep going.
You want Ari back? Anyway, I don't know where I was, but thank you all again. This has been Khyber Shards. Thanks for rolling with us.